Part 52. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 516. Sutingyu tried to exit the identification interface, but the result. The player panel has been locked urgently. The directive to deprive hidden professions is being implemented. 1%, 5%, 12%. Good guy. Sutingyu puffed up his face and stared at the gradually filling progress bar on the panel. Baffling. What kind of hidden profession? If she hadn't taken the initiative to identify it, I don't know how long it would have taken for this hot chicken game to discover it, right? She even broke the rules and made it look like she was guilty. Obviously the little fairy doesn't know anything. The little fairy is also very helpless. Just when the progress bar reached 90%, it suddenly stopped and could not move forward at all. Warn. The data of depriving hidden career instructions is incorrect. Warn. The directive to deprive hidden professions is ineffective. The entire panel was flashing red light crazily, like a malfunctioning machine making its last desperate struggle, except that there was smoke coming out of it. Sutingyu blinked his big eyes. Ah! The scene in front of me looks a bit familiar. Oh, Sutingyu remembered it? Just like the previous copy that collapsed inexplicably. Sutingyu didn't hear the announcement of the dungeon's collapse for 2 consecutive rounds of dungeons, and he really forgot about it for a while. Sutingyu waited for 5 minutes, and the red light on the panel finally stopped. It's okay, I just saw a big melon in the forum. Sutingyu only had time to respond to Chin-Chi and Fatty, and made an excuse casually. At this point, the panel that no longer draws air. Players, please reconfirm which occupation needs to be identified. Sutingyu thought for a moment and decided to identify Pure Heart Singer first. This was related to whether she could redeem the Dream Repair Potion. After Sutingyu confirmed it, the identification interface continued to operate. Professional level is being determined. Identification is completed. Occupation, Pure Heart Singer. Professional bound item, Mermaid Conch. Professional level, Bronze Medal, can be upgraded. Professional characteristics, Hypnosis, Healing. Professional talents. 1 Soul Rest Shadow, close your eyes and sleep, your sweet dreams will come true. 2 The sound of nature purifies, hand in hand, walk together, don't be afraid, don't cry, don't give up, let's fly away in pain. 3 Unclear. Just a bronze medal, Sutingyu was instantly disappointed. Just a bronze medal meant that she couldn't exchange it for game currency. I wonder if Gucci's profession is a silver medal. Why don't I give him all the game coins to exchange for it? By the way, the level display can also be upgraded. Sutingyu clicked on the words "can be upgraded," and a prompt popped up. When Professional Talent 3 is turned on, there is a 50% probability of upgrading the profession. Professional Talent 3? Just this thing that says unknown at the end. Good guy, you are just walking around in circles here. Sutingyu had poked at the unopened Talent 3 before, but there wasn't even a prompt. After going round and round, he still wandered into a dead end. Hot chicken game. Sutingyu's indignant voice attracted the attention of Chin-Chi and Fatty again. The two of them first glanced at Sutingyu, and then looked at each other. Chin-Chi, what's on the forum? Fatty, I'm watching, it seems like there's nothing serious. Chin-Chi, well, then I'll go take a look too. After paying daily greetings to Parallel Paradise, Sutingyu continued to identify occupations. She had an extra hidden profession inexplicably. To be honest, she was a little bit curious. Sutingyu was even more curious as to when she had an additional profession. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 517. Sutingyu gritted his teeth, spent another 5,000 game coins, and then chose to identify hidden professions. Professional level is being determined. Identification is completed. Occupation, Junior Magician. Professional binding item, Magic Wand given by Grain. Professional level, Silver, can be upgraded. Professional characteristics, Spells, Potions. Professional talents. 1. Chanting Magic Breath. By chanting a spell or carving a magic circle, the corresponding magic is activated by the magic wand. 2. Golden Pharmacy. According to the formula, use various magic raw materials to prepare magic potions. 3. Unclear. Holy shit! Sutinyu shouted excitedly. It was the magic taught to her by Master Glenn. It turns out that this is her hidden profession. It's still a silver medal career. Sutinyu's face was filled with excitement and her eyes were dripping. When she accidentally glanced at Chin-Chi and Fatty, who looked strange, she coughed twice. It's okay, it's really okay, he 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 he. As he said that, Sutinyu started to giggle again. This little fairy has 2 professions at the same time, right? Maybe, among the entire player group, I am the only one who has 2 professions at the same time. As expected of you, Susu. Big fish, your identification results are out. Chin-Chi thought of Sutinyu, who was going to get an identification, and he was so happy now. The identification results should be good, right? Yeah, Sutinyu nodded repeatedly. Hui Chang is good, it couldn't be better. Just ask who else. After casually identifying a profession, a hidden profession was determined. And the most important point, this 3NOS game is just bluffing and cannot delete this little fairy's hidden profession. La la la, can't delete it? Just ask if you are angry about this spicy chicken game. Are you angry? Sutinyu was extremely excited in her heart. If it weren't for the worry that someone else was there, Sutinyu would have really wanted to sing a song to express her wonderful mood at the moment. Now that he now has a silver level career, he is fully qualified to purchase the Dream Repair Agent. However, despite being excited, Sutinyu suppressed the idea of exchanging money immediately. Chin-Chi's birthday is almost a month away. During this period, Sutinyu will have to enter at least 4 dungeons. If something unexpected happens during this period, and the Dream Repair Agent that was redeemed is lost in the dungeon and picked up by another player, Sutinyu will really have no place to cry. Although Sutinyu is confident that with his current strength, he won't be taken away so easily, but he still has to take precautions before they happen. Play it safe and don't suffer any losses. After exiting the identification interface, a new message happened to come from the Friends system. Sutinyu clicked in and found out that it was news from Chibubi. Miss Su, this is part of the birthday gift prepared by me for the 7th young master. 35W. His. As expected, he is worthy of being the leader of the Major League, and he has quite a lot of private money. Sutinyu accepted it and replied with a message. Already received you, Mr. Ju, support such a big alliance and still have so much private money. If Sutinyu hadn't picked up so many props, he might not even have 100,000 now, let alone 300,000. Chibubi, Miss Su is joking, this is actually too small. I have already used part of the game coins before, and I can only take out so much now. Sutinyu, I seriously doubt that you are showing off your wealth, or Guju. Chibubi, Miss Su, if nothing happens, I'll leave it like this for now. Sutinyu's eyes rolled slightly and he thought about it for 2 seconds. There is one thing, I have to go on a long journey tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 518. After turning off the panel, Sutinyu was stunned for a few seconds, then turned to the two of them and said, I'm going on a long trip tomorrow, and I'll try my best to get back before the event dungeon on the 20th. Traveling away? Boss, what's the matter with you? The fat man asked doubtfully. Sutinyu made up a reason casually, I just went to see a few friends, I'll be back soon. Kikai, be good. Sutinyu reached out and rubbed Chin-Chi's head. Chin-Chi pursed her lips, then, come back soon. Okay. Sutinyu smiled. Big fish, I don't want to participate in the Father's Day copy on the 20th. Chin-Chi looked down at the little panda in his arms, using his arm slightly to hold the little panda tighter. Huh? What's wrong? Sutinyu asked, blinking his big eyes. Why don't either of them want to participate in the Father's Day dungeon? Big fish, the characteristics of the event dungeon must be related to festivals. The Father's Day dungeon must be inseparable from the word father. I don't think I can't participate, Chin-Chi said hesitantly. After listening, Sutinyu was slightly stunned. Correct. Chin-Chi's father, and the complicated family relationships of the Chin family. Chin-Chi may not hate his father, but he is definitely indifferent to the latter. Well, if you don't participate, you won't participate. Let's make an appointment for carpooling first, and then we can enter the regular dungeon together on the 20th. Sutinyu comforted. Having said that, Sutinyu also remembered, she was an orphan, and a creature like father was very unfamiliar to her. Then make a reservation now. Boss, do you want to participate in the event dungeon or carpool together? The fat man simply followed the two's plan. By the way, Fatty, why don't you want to participate? Sutinyu asked playfully. In fact, Fatty has experienced so many dungeons and has never failed once. Apart from Sutinyu and the others' protection from time to time, Fatty himself also has corresponding strength. After all, Sutinyu and the others couldn't protect Fatty all the time. Fatty is no longer a newbie and can participate in the dungeon by himself. Boss, this Father's Day, I'm a bit unfamiliar with it too. The fat man scratched his head in embarrassment. Sutinyu was startled for a moment, and the next second she remembered that Fatty had said that her father had passed away. This. Sutinyu suddenly felt that they were quite destined to be together. Ahem, okay then. Sutinyu changed the subject, Guju won't participate in this round of event dungeons either. Go and tell Chibubi and invite him to carpool if Guju wants to join us. Okay, boss. The fat man immediately obeyed. First, I used the panel to ask Chibubi. In less than a minute, I got Chibubi's reply. Okay, I will enter the dungeon with you. Fatty, Assistant Chi, do you want to come with us? Chibubi, no, if the dungeon master doesn't participate in this round of events, it doesn't mean that Seeing doesn't participate. Fatty, oh, I understand. Chibubi, just contact me directly. Fatty, okay, okay. After getting the accurate reply, Fatty boldly went to invite Gucci into the small group he had created before, and then immediately changed the group name to Three Legs and Pendants. Fatty, welcome boss to the group. Fatty, I'll send you a carpool invitation right now. The player Zhao Nanchuangbei invites you to carpool together. The departure time is June 20th, 2021, 9 o'clock. Will you get on the bus? Sutinyu clicked OK. Player Angel Su carpooled successfully, current number of riders, 4, departure time, June 20th, 2021, 9 o'clock. Parallel Paradise sincerely wishes you a happy carpooling experience, a wonderful journey, and a happy life. The monthly ticket seems to be enough for additional updates. Find an opportunity to add more updates. Try to do it in these 2 days. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 519. The next day. Afternoon. Sutinyu, who started in the morning and made several stops, got off the train at the train station. The feeling of having feet on the ground gave Sutinyu a feeling like waking up from a dream. This is a relatively remote small county town. It took Sutinyu almost half an hour to book a taxi online, and then waited for another half an hour before the online taxi arrived. "Little girl, are you going home to visit relatives alone?" On the way, the enthusiastic uncle driver picked up a topic. "Yeah, I haven't been back for a long time." The map software on Sutingyu's mobile phone was navigating, and the car was following the route on the map. She turned to look out the window. The tall buildings gradually disappeared from the field of vision, and a large stretch of green fields stretched like an ocean. The edges connected to the undulating mountains. An hour and a half later, after a bumpy ride, Sutingyu finally saw some villages with people outside the car window. The driver complained, "It's been more than 10 years, and the roads here haven't been built yet. There are lots of potholes." After hearing this, Sutingyu couldn't help but chuckle. "Uncle, do you often walk this stretch of road?" "No, I just make a trip here every 10 days and a half," the driver explained. "Nowadays, roads and bridges are being built everywhere, and it is not far from the nearest county seat. But it is strange that it has not changed for more than 10 years. Very much. By the way, there are some villages nearby. There are very few young people and children. Almost all of them are elderly, sick, and disabled. There are very few healthy people." "That's quite strange," Sutingyu nodded in agreement. "When we get to the place, let's just say here, right? No cars can pass any further." The driver stopped the car, looked at the map on his phone, and turned to ask Sutingyu. "Well, thank you, Uncle." Sutingyu took the endorsement and got out of the car. After closing the car door, Sutingyu took a few steps back. The car backed up, turned in a circle, and left along the same path it came from. Sutingyu turned her head and looked at the village in front of her. Instead of entering, she gradually walked away in the other direction. In the mountains, Sutingyu walked for a long time. "This route is this way, right? It seems like we're going the other way. Over there." It had been a long time since he had been here. The vegetation in the mountains had grown wildly, covering many traces. It took Sutingyu half an hour to find the secret entrance to the research institute. After Sutingyu successfully scanned his face, a mysterious passage opened in the mountain. Sutingyu walked in and immediately saw a sign with words on the wall. "Institute of Non-Order." "I'm back." Looking at the sign, Sutingyu shouted happily. As we were about to reach the end of the passage, there was a larger leisure hall with plenty of light and brightness. As soon as Sutingyu came out of the passage, a modified gun was aimed at his head. "Don't move." "Who are you? Are you coming back without my permission?" a playful male voice sounded. Sutingyu rolled her eyes speechlessly and slapped the muzzle of her gun with one hand. "Okay, Xiaoyu, why didn't I just come back because you miss me so much? You don't need to be moved to welcome this fairy, right?" "Bah," Xiaoyu had a disgusted and twisted look on her face. "You disgusted me just after you came back, dead fish, you are so crazy." "Fish." Just as Sutingyu was about to reply, a figure who looked like Sadako in pajamas suddenly rushed towards her and hugged her. "Shui Shui, long time no see," Sutingyu said with a smile while enjoying the beauty's embrace. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 520. Fish. Eat. Shang Guanlian brought a lot of snacks that he couldn't bear to eat on weekdays, scattered them all on the carpet, then sat next to Sutingyu, picked out a few packages, and handed them to Sutingyu. "This, okay, eat." "See you, why are you back all of a sudden when you are free?" Opposite the two of them, Xiaoyu narrowed her eyes slightly and looked at Sutingyu with a scrutinizing look. Sutingyu blinked her big eyes and said, "I think I'm done with you, so I'll just come back and take a look." When Shang Guanlian heard this, he immediately hugged Sutingyu and rubbed his head against the latter with a happy face. Xiaoyu rolled her eyes. "You can just trick Shui Shui, so hurry up and don't beat around the bush." Hearing this, the smile on Sutingyu's face slowly disappeared, and after being silent for 2 seconds, he said, "Have you encountered anything unusual recently?" Shang Guanlian shook his head without thinking, is there any? No. Eat your snack and don't interrupt. Siepui glared at Shang Guanlian. She had obviously hidden all the snacks in the research institute, but now Shang Guanlian took out a bunch more from nowhere. Shang Guan pursed his red lips, lowered his head and took a bite of potato chips. Abnormal thing? What? What happened? Siepui was not as weak as Shang Guanlian. Among them, only Shang Guanlian was truly naive, while Su Tingyu, who looked harmless and honest on the surface, was the most thorough-minded and the most changeable. Su Tingyu observed the changes in Siepui's expression. Everything was as usual, nothing unusual. Why? Su Tingyu sighed, it's nothing. The next second, a translucent panel suddenly appeared in front of Su Tingyu. Siepui's pupils narrowed. Shang Guanlian slowly opened his eyes, Hey Xiao, your panel is open. As soon as these words came out, Su Tingyu suddenly laughed. Siepui turned to look at the confused Shang Guanlian with a look of disgust. I've told you so many times, don't say it out loud after seeing this thing. Shang Guanlian refused, you said you can't be in front of outsiders, and there are no outsiders here, so what you said doesn't count. You still remember it very clearly. Why didn't you remember when I told you to eat less snacks? And you hid it, Siepui was angry. Why are you eating? Shui Shui, don't pay attention to him. He is meddling all day long, just like an old father. Su Tingyu smiled and touched Shang Guanlian's head. Yes. How about eating it? Shang Guanlian's eyes were bright, and he bit into pieces of potato chips with a squeal. She likes fish the most. How careless. Siepui watched the two women hooking up together with a headache, and was extremely annoyed. Okay, let's get straight to the point. You have also become a player, so why come back this time for the Parallel Paradise? Yes. Su Tingyu turned off his panel. Parallel Paradise only allows people with disabilities to enter and become players. China is so big, there are tens of thousands of people with disabilities. In the army, some retired veterans also have there are various injuries and illnesses, so as long as some of them report it, it is impossible for the top management to not discover it. As for the secrecy that Su Tingyu saw when he first entered the game, the so-called secrecy was only for ordinary people. If he wanted to reveal it, there were many ways. What's more, before the Parallel Paradise appeared, there were special groups of people like Su Tingyu. Even if the relevant senior officials had not experienced the dungeon in person, they would largely accept the emergence of the survival game. They also had special abilities. Su Tingyu guessed that Siepui and Shang Guanlian were probably already players. Even if they were not, they should know something about it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 521. No. Siepui always felt that something was wrong. See you just entered the game, right? Everyone knows about carpool tickets and event copies, unlike a new player who has just entered the game. Su Tingyu said frankly, ahem, I entered in May. Siepui's eyes became amused, you are a dead fish. It took you so long to report to the organization. Tell me. Do you know you are wrong? Su Tingyu spread her hands helplessly, I don't want to either. It's not that I don't have time, well, I'm afraid of being locked up in a dark room. Siepui's eyes suddenly looked disdainful, it's as if you are not a frequent visitor to the little dark room. Then why did you suddenly change your mind? You came here without any notice. If the equipment installed by the institute hadn't prompted Siepui when he came in, there wouldn't have been that scene when they first met. Su Tingyu blinked his big eyes and said innocently, I saw the boss in the dungeon, so before he was discovered, I came over to confess and get leniency. Tisk, tisk, I'm just surprised. How could you be so self-conscious? Upon hearing this, Siepuyu despised Sutingyu even more. So how much do the higher UPS know about parallel paradise now? What Sutingyu wants to know most now is how much the country's top officials have discovered about parallel paradise. The Celestial Dynasty, one of the 5 major states in the world, has energy behind it that ordinary people cannot truly see through. However, now that he was facing a mysterious parallel paradise, Sutingyu felt a little unsure. I will post the information you can see on your JL account later. You can only read it in the Research Institute and destroy it after reading it. Siepuyu paused for a moment. By the way, when you come back this time, how long will you stay? Sutingyu, I made an appointment with a few friends to enter the dungeon on the 20th, and I'll probably go back on the 19th. Number 20. Dead fish, you want to enter the event dungeon. Sutingyu shook his head. It's not an event dungeon, it's just a normal dungeon for carpooling. Okay, just live in the institute these days. Your room will be taken care of by a household robot, and daily necessities are also there. If you are short, just bring water. Siepuyu stood up. Good. Seeing that the two of them seemed to have finished talking, Shang Guanlian touched his belly and said, Xiao, I'm hungry. You haven't stopped talking, are you hungry? Siepuyu turned around and brought out a big bag and put away all the remaining snacks. Stop eating, leave some space for dinner. Shang Guanlian pursed his lips and looked pitifully as the indifferent Siepuyu took away her snacks. You, Xiao, he doesn't have martial ethics. Shang Guanlian hugged Sutingyu and complained aggrievedly. Sutingyu touched Shang Guanlian's head. Are you angry or not? How about we cover Xiaoyu's head secretly with a black bag and beat him again? Shang Guanlian thought for a few seconds and shook his head. If I get beaten down, no one will cook for me. Then wait until he has finished cooking dinner before beating him. I will control the intensity. I will never beat him until he can't get out of bed for one night and he will be alive and kicking the next day. Sutingyu continued to play evil tricks. Yes. That's it, Shang Guanlian suddenly realized. In the kitchen, Siepuyu was sending files on his mobile phone. When he listened to the undisguised conversations outside, he rolled his eyes with disdain. 1 or 2, think he is deaf, right? Don't want that girl's snacks for next month. After sending successfully, Siepuyu exited the software interface with a swipe of her finger. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 522. After coaxing Shang Guanlian, Sutingyu carried her backpack and went to her room. As soon as the door opened, Guanlian followed him a few steps and jumped onto the bed, jumping up and down on it. When you're done playing, help me change the mattress, Sutingyu said casually, ignoring the playful Shang Guanlian, walked straight to the computer desk, and threw his backpack on the floor beside him. Shang Guanlian responded, okay. Plugging in the power, Sutingyu turned on the computer that had been shut down for a long time. Find the JL software on the main interface, click to enter, and after verifying your identity, log in successfully. Sutingyu clicked to enter a new document. FZX Top Secret, SYS0301. On March 15, 2021, a mysterious survival game system called Parallel Paradise suddenly appeared, attracting 200,000 humans from around the world to enter the dungeon and face various dungeon tasks. On March 27, 2021, the 13th day after the Parallel Paradise appeared, after investigation, there were 6,300 deaths of citizens in the country. After investigation by the mysterious bureau, it was confirmed that 3,320 of them were homicides, 1,010 were suicides, and some were suicides. 1970 cases were accidental deaths. Among the 1,970 accidental deaths, as of the end of April 2021, there were still 521 cases where the cause of death had not been identified or the cause of death was unreasonable in common sense. On April 30, 2021, the Mystery Bureau came to the final conclusion that the victims of the 521 mysterious deaths in March were most likely eliminated players from Parallel Paradise. The next day, the official media reported that the case was an accident. Death event. Is someone really dead? Sotingu's face darkened slightly, but the information in these paragraphs also showed that the top officials of the country had noticed the existence of Parallel Paradise very early on. Sotingu continued to look down. FZX Top Secret, SYS 0403. On April 1, 2021, a copy of the April Fool's Day event appeared, and foreign faces appeared in the copy. This can be confirmed that the Parallel Paradise does not only affect the Chinese dynasty, but also affects the survival of mankind around the world. On April 3, 2021, our diplomat Mr. Wang went abroad to conduct friendly interviews with major countries. After returning home, news came out that senior officials of the 4 major countries had noticed the existence of parallel paradises. On April 10, 2021, it is suspected that a new batch of players will enter the parallel paradise. On April 12, 2021, Ling Ju, a member of the Non-Order Research Institute, put forward a conjecture regarding the emergence of new players, the so-called first batch of internal testing, the second batch of internal testing, and there will most likely be a third batch in the future, the fourth batch of players enters. On April 25, 2021, Xiepwu, a member of the Non-Order Research Institute, entered the professional dungeon. After careful observation, Xiepwu put forward a conjecture: the dungeon world built in the parallel paradise may have a real world. This conjecture alarmed National Space Administration. Xiaoyu has also entered the professional dungeon. Sotingu's eyes changed slightly when he saw the words professional dungeon. Yes, Xiao has been in it, and I have been in it too. Shang Guanlian, who was disco dancing, heard Sotingu's muttering and replied naturally. Sotingu turned around and said, "Shui Shui, have you also entered the professional dungeon?" "Yeah, I had it once in May." Shang Guanlian nodded. Sotingu focused her attention on the computer screen again. FZX Top Secret, SYS 0612. On June 9, 2021, after investigation and demonstration by all parties, it was discovered that there was a public beta for Parallel Paradise, and it was suspected that the public beta would be launched on September 1. At present, it is not yet known whether the public beta will be launched in 2021. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 523. On June 10, 2021, Director of the Supernatural Research Institute Luo Min boldly proposed, "Parallel Paradise is an unprecedented crisis for global mankind, and it is also a rare opportunity. As of now, all the game items in the Parallel Paradise cannot bring reality. These include dream repair agents that can cure any disease, resuscitation essences that can bring the dead back to life, professional binding objects with different abilities, and countless other items that are far beyond the realm of reality. The black technology of Blue Star's surface civilization. If humans can bring game items into reality and make every effort to research, conquer, and crack the key technologies, human civilization will enter the seventh period of great glory." On June 12, 2021, Director of the Supernatural Research Institute Luo Min put forward a conjecture: after the open beta begins, the abilities and props obtained by players in the dungeon can be used normally in reality. The reason for the argument is, if the Parallel Paradise does not deceive players, then the dream repair agent that claims to be able to cure all diseases must be taken out in reality before it can be used effectively. Evening, 7 o'clock. Xiepwu looked at the food and bowls and chopsticks laid out in front of the table, and shouted towards the rest area, "Hey, you two, come out to eat." 10 seconds later, Shang Guanlian ran out dragging Sotingu's hand. "Xiao, what do you want to eat tonight? Wow, so many dishes." Siepu picked up a chopstick and gently slapped Shang Guanlian's hand that wanted to grab the chicken wings. Hurry and wash your hands. Oh. Siepu used serving chopsticks to pick up a few pieces of vegetables for Shang Guanlian, but the latter pulled them to the edge of the bowl with a look of disgust, and then continued to nibble on the chicken wings. Have you read all the information? Siepu looked at Sotingyu and asked. Sotingyu nodded, yes. How does it feel? The news about the open beta is quite unexpected. Sotingyu's trip back was worth it just to get the news about the open beta. Siepu's face was slightly serious. From now on, let's be prepared. We don't know the year when the public beta will appear. If it is this year, it will only be more than 2 months before the public beta. Hazard, maybe the public beta will be launched in 10, 8, or even 100 years, Sotingyu said jokingly. Hearing this, Siepu laughed out loud. Yes, maybe the public beta of Parallel Paradise will be left to the next generation to worry about. By the way, what's your nickname in the game? I'll add you as a friend and we can enter the dungeon together in the future. I want it to. Shang Guanlian immediately raised his hand. Okay, Sotingyu took a bite of rice and said, my game nickname is Angel Su, what's yours? God, Angel Su, Siepu almost spat out a mouthful of soup. Dead fish, do you want face? Return it to Angel. Wait a minute, Angel Su, sounds familiar, the first place in the Children's Day copy. Siepu had a good memory and thought of it all at once. Sotingyu raised her chin proudly. How is it? You didn't embarrass the non-order, did you? Okay, dead fish. Siepu opened the panel and went to add Sotingyu. After more than 10 seconds, Sotingyu received a new friend application message. No desire, no need. Eat sweets without losing teeth. Fish, it's me who can eat sweets without losing teeth. Hurry up. Shang Guanlian rubbed her head over. Although she couldn't see Sotingyu's panel, she still waited eagerly for Sotingyu to agree. Okay, add water to the first one. After Sotingyu nodded in agreement, she glanced at Siepu. Someone still laughed at my nickname, but my own nickname got, tisk tisk, it smells like a hypocrite. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 524. Siepu looked calm, but Quandang didn't hear anything. You said you had made an appointment with someone else for the dungeon on the 20th. Sotingyu nodded. Well, they are all friends I made in the game. Siepu frowned slightly. I met them in the game. Are they credible? Who are they? Your abilities cannot be exposed casually. Do you think I'm shui, so easy to deceive? Sotingyu threw away the bones of the chicken wings. Don't worry, I'm sensible. Moreover, now that some players have professional talents, maybe other players also have the same hypnotic ability as me anyway. After Parallel Paradise came out, Sotingyu felt that her singing hypnosis ability was a bit inadequate. Unlike Siepu and Shang Guanlian, one can reverse time or traverse space through clues to find out some secret and important clues, and the other can mentally invade all non-biological devices, even can steal secrets and manipulate equipment. Sotingyu felt that the abilities of these two people were simply outrageous. With the cooperation of their abilities, it seemed that all mysteries were hidden and there was no privacy at all. However, the greater the ability, the more stringent the requirements for the user. The physical and mental burden is also heavier. After many actual tests, the maximum time that Siepu can continue to use his ability is 20 seconds, while the maximum time that Shang Guanlian can continue to use his ability is 3 minutes. Siepu suddenly asked, have you obtained a career in the game? Sotingyu blinked his big eyes. Why did he suddenly ask this? Yes, I got it. The magician. Siepu's eyes were playful. Is it still a hypnosis profession? Cough cough cough. Sutingyu was so frightened that he took several bites of rice. Siepweo clicked her tongue in surprise. Dead fish, should I say you have good luck or bad luck? Acquiring a profession that is similar to your own ability. Your hypnosis ability in the dungeon must have been affected or changed by the professional talent, right? The abilities may be similar, but no matter how you change it, it seems like it would be more cost-effective to acquire a brand new ability, right, dead fish? Sutingyu rolled her eyes. You've done everything, what else do you want me to say? I haven't been back for a long time, and I almost forgot that this hypocrite's insight and reasoning are terrifying. However, this reasoning beast should not know the results of his recent experience, otherwise he would definitely think that his professional talents have been brought to the real world. You know, even in the conjecture of Director Luomin of the Supernatural Research Institute, it was mentioned that game items and professional talents can be effectively used in the real world in the future, but that was all based on the start of the open beta. Sutingyu's ability to hypnotize with her singing alone is not unique among the chaos of ghosts and beasts. It can even be called mediocre. However, if it is discovered that he can freely take out game items and use professional talents, it will cause a big stir. Dead fish, has your hypnosis ability changed in the game? Sutingyu glanced sideways at Siepweo. You keep asking me, so tell me what your talent is. Siepweo rubbed her nose boredly. Forget it. Siepweo shut up and stopped. Although I am not sure whether there will be a public beta in September this year, it is impossible for the higher UPS to do nothing, right? How is the specific progress? Sutingyu was asking about the specific work of other national-level confidentiality agencies. This was rarely mentioned in non-order top-secret documents, unless it was internally disclosed information. After all, various departments must maintain a certain degree of privacy. Sexuality, to prevent being taken over by spies. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 525. Yes, Siepweo nodded. According to the information I received, the Food Bureau, Security Bureau, Space Bureau, Transportation Bureau, and other departments have launched a series of response measures. In mid-August this year, the Grain Bureau will stop all agricultural production in the country. Previously, granaries across the country had to reserve at least 5 years of food to match the local population. In addition, a large amount of meat and vegetables have also begun to be frozen urgently. Enough for 3 years. At the end of this month, the Security Service's proposal to excavate and build underground bomb shelters and shelters will undergo final review. Not surprisingly, in early July, large-scale air raid shelters and shelters will be built near granaries across the country, using the most advanced building materials to ensure that even if the big earthquake in 2008 comes, people across the country will have shelter. It must also be unbreakable and as stable as Mount Tai. Similarly, at the end of this month, the Cultural Relics Bureau will also escort various precious cultural relics in our country and transfer them to secret protection facilities. There is no way, the people from the Cultural Relics Bureau are still shouting, the things left by our ancestors, baby, don't lose any of them. In August this year, the country will issue a no-fly and no-travel order, and the Transportation Bureau will be responsible for and supervise it. In order to have a suitable reason for people across the country to stay at home, Academician Tang from the Medical Bureau took the lead in proposing to tell the whole country that a new type of virus has recently emerged with a fierce attack. The virus is highly contagious and has not yet been discovered. To develop an effective cure, isolation can only be used to prevent spread. If nothing happens on September 1st, we can once again claim to the outside world that the virus is not specifically lethal and has been effectively contained. Half an hour later, Siepweo's mouth was dry as he talked. When he looked at Sutingyu and Shang Guanlian, it was as if they were listening to a story. They never stopped talking, and the dining table was also covered with wind and residual clouds. You guys. Siepweo laughed and scolded, Save some for me at least. Ahem, isn't it just to see how enthusiastic you are? Sutinyu burped and put down the empty bowl. Now that the country is well prepared, Sutinyu can feel a little more at ease. If you need my help, remember to call me. Sutinyu finally realized his conscience and felt that he couldn't be too Buddhist. Okay, I will definitely call you. Siepweo smiled. Actually, you have already done your best. Sutinyu looked confused. How come I didn't notice it? You won't trick me, right? TCH, am I this kind of person? Siepweo, you still remember that you were suddenly called to record a song, right? Sutinyu blinked his big eyes. It seems, there is. Your singing can soothe people's worries. If the public beta comes and the world is in chaos, and the country and even the world are in chaos, maybe your singing can soothe the people. Siepweo suddenly spoke righteously, with a certain light in her eyes. For a moment, Sutinyu felt a little embarrassed. Ahem, that's it? Then don't I have a chance to become famous all over the world? Forget it, I still hope that such a day will not come to me. Siepweo finished the last bite of rice in her bowl and stood up to pack her things. Okay, I'll go pack my things first, and you can play with Shui Shui for a while. Shang Guanlian nodded, yes, yes. Because Shang Guanlian begged her to stay a few more days, Sutinyu stayed at the institute on the 19th. Then we drove all day and finally returned to the capital on the night of the 19th.